Hey, it's good to have meaningful basketball back. Just watched the Lakers beat the Clippers by 2 points, and the Clippers were my preseason pick to win it all. I was looking at that team and thought they had switchable defenders across the board. Kawhi Leonard is probably the best player in the league. Paul George, if he can stay healthy, I don't think Paul George is a playoff choker. I know it hasn't been great the last couple of years, but he was clearly hurt last year, and really only 2018 was his only bad playoffs. But anyways, I feel like the Lakers kind of figured the Clippers out a little bit this game. I don't think I'm at the point where I'm going to pick the Lakers to beat the Clippers because the Clippers still didn't have Lou, they didn't have Montrez, and I think that was a big deal because when their second unit came in, I mean, the Clippers were going to Reggie Jackson to create all of their offense, essentially. And to Reggie's credit, he did all right, but you can't ask Reggie Jackson to do that for you on a consistent basis. He's a buyout guy. He's just not that good. But I guess tonight was why they signed him. I know they get Lou back in like 5 days, something like that. And I think his importance just really showed in this game. Having that third scorer and just another guy that can create like efficiently is a big deal for them. So did the Lakers figure them out? A little bit. And pretty much all on the defensive end. This Lakers team is so much different from those Cavs teams that LeBron was on. This team can play defense. They have long defenders all over the place. LeBron himself is still a top 10 on-ball defender in the league. I don't know if you guys saw that last play where he was on Kawhi, stopped Kawhi for the first 6 seconds of the possession. Kawhi had to pass it to PG, switched on to PG, and literally had one-on-one stops on 2 of the 10 best players in the league to seal that win. So that's impressive. On top of that, you got Anthony Davis, who might win Defensive Player of the Year this year, who can guard on the perimeter, can protect the rim, can switch. You got Danny Green, who's probably the best transition defender I've ever seen in my lifetime. I know you Spurs fans remember Danny Green like that, but for those who haven't watched Danny Green that close, absolutely fantastic defender. Caruso showed some life on that end. KCP isn't a negative defender. Dwight's a decent defender. JaVale. I'm just saying they have a lot of guys that can guard at their position. And the one negative on this Clippers team is they don't have a natural playmaker. And I think that really showed. And even though I was just saying like they didn't have Lou and they didn't have Montrez, Lou and Montrez aren't really playmakers either. They're scorers, and in Montrez's case, scorer and a rebounder, you get it. So I don't know where the Clippers go if Kawhi and PG and Lou Will aren't creating on like ISOs and spread pick and rolls. And at the end of this game here, you know, they tied it up, and Paul George made that crazy three to tie it at 101, I believe, with like 20 seconds left, something like that. But they had to make tough shots. That's what I'm saying. And at some point, maybe the shot creating of the Clippers is just so much. There's just so much Kawhi, so much PG making tough shots that it'll be enough and they'll be able to win the game. But I'm not a believer in that's how you win basketball games. I really think, for the most part, who's going to win a 7-game series is who's going to get more open shots. And it's not going to be the Clippers. They're going to have to win on just tough shots. I saw Doc's version of trying to counter that problem was they went 5 out at the end of the game, essentially, looking like a 2K Pro-Am team. And just that extra space, you know, makes it easier to ISO and easier to run those spread pick and rolls. But again, it just comes down to the point where it's just, are the Lakers defenders going to be better at defense than the Clippers offensive players going to be at offense? It really, really simplifies the game. And I think it limits them. I really think the Clippers are limited in what they can do against the Lakers. So it should be a really entertaining series when we get it in the Western Conference Finals. I highly doubt the Lakers are going to be upset. Maybe the Houston gets the Clippers, but my money would still be on the Clippers in that series. It's just that the one ace in the hole that the Clippers have had all year is that they know in the back of their heads they can throw out Kawhi, PG, Pat Bev, JaMychal Green, or one of the Morris twins, and they have this super versatile defensive lineup that can just shut teams down for these 6-minute stretches. And it happened all throughout the regular season. They'd kind of be playing like ass until about 6 minutes left in the third quarter, then they'd go on this run where the other team just wouldn't make a basket. And that kind of happened in the beginning of the second half in this game. I believe the Lakers missed 14 shots in a row or something like that. And that's cool if you're the Clippers, but I just don't think that's going to work against a LeBron-led team for 7 games. I've never seen LeBron really just stumped by a defense, unless maybe you want to say 2011, but all right, in the last 8 years, I've not seen LeBron get stumped by a defense for more than a game. I think he will figure them out. And even tonight, when LeBron only had 16, what did he finish with? 16, 11, and 7, didn't shoot great. He was still making great passes. He was still kind of getting wherever he wanted to on the court. I don't know. I might have to change my pick. I've been sticking with the Clippers all year just because I think Kawhi Leonard is that great of a shot maker in his own right. I don't think anybody can stop him from getting to the elbow. I think he's probably got the best Jordan Kobe impersonation in the league right now with that turnaround elbow baseline jumper. The dude's just a killer from anywhere on the court. The last aspect of this matchup that's really intriguing to me is just how Anthony Davis will be used offensively against the Clippers. This game, he was kind of used all over the place. In the first half, he shot 13 free throws, I believe, something like that. And then in the second half, he was bombing away from 3 and shooting a lot of jump shots. So I think it's really easy for him to fall in love with his jump shot, and he's a good shooter. It's not like I'm one of those guys who's just going to be like, oh no, he needs to get in the post the whole game and abandon the jumper. Like, no, and not at all. But the Clippers don't really have a matchup for him. Like, Zubac can try his hardest, and Noah is a really big signing for them. Noah's a big pickup. But I don't know, man. Noah's like 35 years old. It's been a long time since we've seen him really play that kind of high-level defense to where he could bother somebody that's as good as Anthony Davis. So who do I think is going to win the series when they play? Listen, if I was a Laker fan, I'd be pretty terrified of Kawhi Leonard. I think that dude is that good. He hasn't really lost a playoff series since 2016, because in 2017, Zaza took him out when they were up by 25 against the best team of all time, like that KD Warriors. He sat out 2018. 2019, he won the chip. It's just been a long time since I've seen somebody beat this dude. His game is meant for playoff basketball. But if anybody can do it, it's definitely LeBron. And as of now, I am not confident enough to pick the Lakers. I'd still pick Clippers in 7.